In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes podcast with me, Vicky Fraser, and
Joe. Hello.
Hi. You seemed surprised even though we've been sitting here waiting to start the podcast.
Well, every other week you say my name and then I say hello.
Oh, sorry.
This week you just stopped.
Oh.
Okay, that's going to confuse the regular listeners.
You're in a fixed mindset, Joe.
I am in a fixed mindset. I've got my expectations.
You have.
You sprung one on me.
I did. So this week I'm drinking a very nice white wine from Naked Wines from South Africa. Kruger Family Wines. It's very nice. And what are you drinking?
I've got a beer Moretti, which is premium lager imported from Italy.
It's very nice Moretti. I like a good Moretti.
I have the biggest beer bottle in the world.
It is massive. Massive. So yeah, we've just started on I've just started on the supping because I've been teaching my pole class and Joe has been drinking beer in the shower.
It's not strictly true. I was drinking beer in the bathroom and then I got in the shower.
Okay, cool. Well, this week we are going to be talking about mindset, which I think is actually pretty apposite. That's a good word. Because, I was interviewed this morning, Joe, for another podcast, and it was really exciting because it's the first time I've ever been interviewed for a podcast, or I think for anything, actually.
Is that because you're well famous?
It's because I is well famous. No, I is not well famous. But it was Terry and Drew Edwards, who are awesome, and they do the Renegade Recruiter podcast. So you guys should check that out because they're ace.
Cool.
And they interviewed me and it was really exciting.
Nice.
And I'm really looking forward to it because I actually felt really good about how I came across. And that's quite rare. Because normally I'm like, oh my God, I'm so shit. I am, aren't I?
You're not normally shit, no.
No, but that's how I think about myself.
Okay, right.
Quite often. Not always. Sometimes I'm like, woohoo, I'm ace. But anyway, I was interviewed and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And one of the topics that we kind of got onto was... It wasn't indirectly mindset, and because they asked me what challenges I'd overcome and all that kind of stuff, and I think probably the biggest challenge I've overcome in the last few years, is my own tendency to trip myself up and also be less of a shit bag.
Yeah, you're a terrible shitbag.
I was a terrible shitbag though. That's the thing, because when I was working at the job from hell, trademark. It's not trademarked. When I was working at the job from hell, it was a horrible place to work, and the guy who owned the place was awful, but I didn't half make my own life difficult.
Right.
And I just, looking back, just behaved like a dick, and I don't really know why people are still friends with me. Because, it's just, I was always kind of like, oh, I'm really miserable because this happened, and this person did this, and, that's kind of a shit way to be, because...
You're just passive, just reacting to stuff.
Yeah. And I don't for a second, none of this podcast, by the way, is for a second saying that bad things don't happen and, that none of this is about victim blaming at all, because I'm totally, that can kiss my ass, because, you don't blame the victim ever, because that's like saying, oh, you're wearing a short skirt, so you're asking for it. Bollocks to that. You can't control quite a lot of the stuff that happens to you, but you can control how you deal with it. And I think that's really important. So, you might be a victim in some way, but if you stay a victim, then that's your choice. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So how you deal with stuff is entirely up to you.
That's certainly true.
Yeah.
I'm like goldfish in here. I don't really react to much at all.
It's true, he doesn't.
It's a skill. It's a skill I've had from, my Catholic upbringing.
Good.
Yeah. I can pretty much ignore any nonsense.
He does. He ignores my nonsense all the time. Which is probably for the best, really. So anyway, I'm listening to this audiobook at the moment. I listen to audiobooks when I am driving around, and I thoroughly recommend that you do the same, dear listener, because it's ace. Because you're taking a lot, and then if it's a good book, I'll read it. Like, read it rather than listen.
With the actual paper.
With the actual paper or the Kindle ton. So...
Other e-readers are available.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, I'm listening to Mindset by Carol Dweck at the moment, and Dweck's a great name. But she's a psychologist, and I first encountered her in another book that I was reading, and I'm now looking at the ceiling trying to search my memory because I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me. But she talks about mindsets, whether you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And I totally used to have a fixed mindset. Totally. Because I was all about I'm not very good at that, and that was it. Actually, no, you know what? I don't think that's entirely true, because I never avoided difficult tasks as a child. My mum, if you ask my mum about jigsaws, she'll be like, oh, you used to turn them upside down and do them with the blank side up because it was too easy for you to do them the easy side round. And that actually does show a growth mindset, and that's all down to having awesome parents, I think, because they were always encouraging.
Yeah, for sure.
And they never were like, oh, you're so pretty and oh, you're so clever. It was all about, you've worked really hard. And that's the difference, because it's not about being clever. It's about working hard. And that's kind of what Carol Dweck is all about, really. Because babies come into the world with a growth mindset. They want to learn. Children want to learn. And then it gets bashed out of them.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't get bashed out of everybody, obviously.
Yeah. Don't kick the baby.
Don't kick the baby. That'd be really bad. But yeah, if you're around children, you have a massive role in the kind of mindset they're going to have. And you will probably recognise here people in a fixed mindset, and it's people who say, I can't do that. This is really difficult.
It's draining, isn't it? I can think of a couple of characters in my world who it's like pushing a mud uphill, trying to get them to actually get on board with something and move forward. Yeah. Painful.
It is painful, and it's frustrating as well. It's not just frustrating because you're trying to get things done, but it's frustrating because you can see the ability is there, or the ability would be there for people to do really good stuff if only they would change their mindset. And, you get people sort of thinking that they're this fixed person, and that's not the case at all, because you can change yourself quite radically. And I really object to, because you hear people say, oh, so-and-so will never change and people never change. And I'm sorry, but that's absolute bullshit. And it winds me up, because that basically means that if you make a mistake, you are your mistake for your entire life. And that's nonsense. We are not our mistakes. We are able to learn and grow and change. And God, I'm really glad that I don't have a fixed mindset anymore. I briefly did a few years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't anymore.
That's a good thing. Open to all of the hard work and the opportunities out there.
Yeah. And it's not all about being kind of endlessly cheerful about it either, because I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, Mondays are awesome, yay, go Mondays, because frankly, I think Mondays suck.
That my friend Richard actually said, he noticed you on Facebook saying, oh, God, Monday. And he was like, oh, my God, if Viki doesn't like Mondays, we're all doomed.
Oh, really? Is that what you said?
Yeah. He said you're supposed to be the shining example of everything's brilliant.
Oh, no. But you see, that's the thing. And that's really funny. And Richard, if you're listening, I'm going to have to work on my whole, not being annoyingly cheerful all the time, clearly, because...
Scowl at Richard.
I will scowl at you next time I see you. Because apparently he listens to this, which is really cool.
Yeah. It's cool. He's one of my climbing buddies.
He's lovely.
He is lovely. He's ferociously strong and makes me feel bad.
Well, you see, that's it. It shouldn't make you feel bad. It should make you...
Inspired. He inspired... No, that's a bit...
Well, it's a bit wank, but it's true. You should feel, rather than feeling diminished by his climbing ability, you should... And this was another thing that Carol Dweck was going on about. People... And she told a little story about... I know I'm veering... Joe's doing crazy veering tangent things, but it is relevant, I promise. But she told a story about... He's now laughing at me. You can't hear it. It's bad. Oh, no.
Sorry, I'll chuckle louder.
But no, it's true. Can
you imagine what the hand signal for you're going off on multiple tangents looks like?
It looks like aeroplanes that are crashing.
Okay.
No, you've derailed the tangent.
Yeah.
Can you derail a tangent? Anyway. So
meanwhile, back at the ranch.
So
Billy's down the well. Sorry, that's what the dog used to.
Goldfish
bark.
in my head now. Got no idea what's going on.
Lost.
Bubbles. No.
Anywho, Richard listens to the podcast and he's very good and he inspires me to be a better climber. Anyway, and he said that he listens to us when he's in the car, and he said that he runs a small business delivering
Cleaning supplies
and things for businesses, and he does a very good job. He's all about the personal service. If you need any cleaning supplies, give us a shout. We'll hook you up. Anywho, he
stop saying anywho. It's
I know, I've done it like multiple times now. I know. That's bad, isn't it? Jeepers. And he said he's listening to the podcast and he's making changes. He's doing stuff,
and that's so fucking exciting.
Awesome.
I'm so fucking excited about that, because I don't want people to just listen to this and laugh. I mean, I do want you to laugh because it's very gratifying to be told that we're funny. But what I really want you to do is make changes in your business and your life because you've listened to something and you've thought, oh, how can I put this into practice in my business? And that's awesome. It really is. And that's, at the risk of sounding like a wanky twat, that is why I do this stuff. No, it's true. You're laughing at me, but it's true. Because, my business is thriving and all the rest of it, and it's nice to have plenty of cash. But plenty of cash isn't enough to keep you doing something that, frankly, sometimes sucks donkey balls. Because I don't love my business 100% of the time. Nobody does. And if they say they do, then they're lying, I think. Because, if I didn't hear things like that every now and then.
Those are the best bits, aren't they? When you get a really nice email from someone or a comment from somewhere that says, yeah, I'm doing this and it's working.
Yeah, totally. Because, and they totally make up for the odd email that I get that says fuck off and die. And that is an email that I have received in the past, by the way. Which is hilarious.
Nice.
Oh, I should totally read out another email. I might do that in the next podcast. You can read out that awful email from that awful woman.
The passive-aggressive.
Oh, God, it was bad. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But the whole fixed mindset thing is really cool because you don't want... If you feel diminished by somebody else's achievement, then that says that you've got a fixed mindset about stuff like that.
Right.
And that was why I was a bit concerned about your whole, it makes me feel bad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh.
Bad husband.
Bad husband.
But yeah, the story that I was going to tell that I've now remembered is Carol Dweck was at... This is the author of the book that I've been reading.
The author of the book about mindset.
About mindset.
There we go.
She was at an event. Well, no, she was away with her husband fishing, and they were on this fishing trip, and it was a group thing, which sounds hideous to me. But anyway, there you go. So there were lots of strangers on this fishing
group
trip.
Fishing.
And the instructor had kind of given them instructions on how to do fly fishing, but hadn't really given them that much to go on. And apparently fly fishing is different. I don't know, when you're fishing for rainbow trout, you have to sing to them or some shit. I don't know. But anyway, she managed to... When you hook them, you're not supposed to yank them. I don't like fishing. It's mean. Anyway, so she caught a fish, but none of the other people in the boat caught a fish. And bear in mind that most of the other people in the boat were men. And you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? So in the evening when they were in the bar, she was having a great time with her husband, and he was like, "Oh, I was really excited when you caught that fish. That was amazing. I love spending time with you because cool things happen around you and it's exciting." And then a couple of the guys who were on the boat came up and they were like, "Oh, dude, I'm really sorry. You must feel awful." And her husband's like, "What? Why?" And they were like, "Well, your wife got the fish," and that's just a totally good example of a fixed mindset. And they felt diminished by the fact that she'd caught a fish and therefore assumed that her husband also felt diminished. Do you ever feel diminished by me?
No, not at all.
No, I didn't think so, because you're cool.
I'm delighted by what you're doing. I thought you were nuts when you started, but yeah.
Oh, but he was so supportive. I would never have been able to do it without you. And we're going mushy now, and we should stop that. But it's true. I would, he could have been really unsupportive, because I've heard of people. I've heard of people's businesses and relationships falling apart because their partner hasn't been supportive, and that sucks ass. But anyway, yeah, mindset. Back to mindset. But this is all to do with mindset, really, though, because it's all about allowing people to make mistakes and learn from them and do better. And that's something else that I would kind of like to talk about a little bit as well, because I think we're brought up in this culture where making mistakes is not acceptable.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I know that you work with a guy who is very... He doesn't allow himself to do stuff, does he, in case he gets it wrong?
Yes. Yeah, he won't take any risks, either professionally, personally, or anything, because, it might not work.
And I think that's really sad, because this isn't about being at the top of your game and conquering the world and all the rest of it, because big lofty goals aren't for everybody, and that's fine. But it is about making the most of your potential, I think. Yeah,
you have to develop, you have to move forward, you have to pick a direction and make effort, surely.
Exactly. And, you know, hard work will get you on the way to where you want to go. And yes, there's a certain amount of, you know, I'm certainly not naive enough to think that my white middle class upbringing hasn't given me a lot of advantages, because it damn well has. But when I see other people who have a white middle class upbringing complaining about their lot in life, that really pisses me off, because they've had the same opportunities that I have, and yet they've done nothing with them. And I see people every day, by the way, doing nothing with their opportunities, and it's frustrating. Because then you see people on the other side of the world or from really shitty backgrounds who have had, oh my God, just the most awful lives. And I know of somebody, actually, a friend of a friend, a lady called Viki Shanks, and you should look up her book. I think it's called Unraveled. I've just bought it on my Kindle. I'm going to read it. But you read about her life, and I just can't even, if you didn't know it was true, you wouldn't believe it. Because she's got 6 kids and her husband killed himself. But that's not even the worst of it. When you get into her story, it's just incredible. And this is a woman who spoke at a TEDx conference a few months ago.
All right.
And she's awesome, and her kids are awesome. That's Laurie and...
We're stuck in a loop. We're staring at each other, wondering what comes next. Vicky has been deactivated. Here we go. Oh, she's broken. Hold on, folks. Normal service will resume. Nope, she's gone. Should we edit that bit out?
Oh, I don't care. I don't mind looking like a dick. Anyway, look up Viki Shanks' book, because that family's incredible, and the stuff they've been through to get to where they are now, and the girls run their own business, and the mum is doing this amazing stuff working with kids with autism and cerebral palsy as well. God, they've had a tough fucking hand dealt to them. And the point is that life isn't fair, but you take what you're given and you get on with it. And I think you have almost a duty to yourself to make the most of the opportunities that you're given. And I think it's very, very sad when people don't, because people are capable of far more than they think they are.
Sure. Yeah. I'd agree with that, for sure.
We all are. Me included. I'm a right dick when it comes to, and it's...
When are you a right dick when it comes to?
Well, when it comes to holding myself back, because... And this is one of my favourite quotes is from Rob Lowe, the actor. Okay. So of The West Wing.
Of The West Wing, yeah.
The Brat Pack movies and all the rest of it. I love Rob Lowe, he's ace. But he's a wise fellow, because he once said, never compare your insides to somebody else's outsides. And did we talk about this a couple of weeks ago as well?
I think this is in a previous cast.
Yeah, well, I think it's worth saying again.
Say it twice, Vicky.
Say it twice. Because it's true, because we spend a lot of time comparing ourselves to other people, and then we use it as an excuse to not try harder, because, well, if that person's doing so much better than me, they're better than me, and what can I do? Which is arse, really.
Pick a direction, try.
Yeah.
Develop, grow, learn stuff, keep moving.
Yeah.
Swim faster.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. P. Sherman, 44 Wallaby Road, Sydney.
Such a nerd.
Oh, that's one of my favourite films.
Anyway.
This has been a slightly rambly podcast.
Yes.
Because I only realised today that my podcast recording was due to go to the Podfly guys. Hi, Podfly guys.
Hello, Podfly guys.
Who do an amazing job.
Amazing job.
And I hadn't realised that it was Wednesday, basically, because I've been running around like a blue-arsed fly all week and being interviewed on podcasts today. And
could we not have just stolen those guys' podcast and just reissued that?
No, because it's not out yet.
Ugh, selfish.
I know. I might ask them if I can put it out. Well, they will give it to me to share. Dear listener, I will let you know when that podcast is ready to share, because it's really cool. I really enjoyed doing it.
Cool.
And there's lots of useful stuff in there. Some of it about mindset, some of it about me being a dick, and some of it about circus training, and some of it about what I do for my clients and my inner circle guys and all the rest of it. Cool. I love my inner circle guys. They're ace. They're all doing really cool stuff as well, because I keep seeing emails ping through about the 12-week year goals and putting prices up and go Lynn. And yeah, and it just makes me happy to see that people are just pushing the envelope a little bit. because this stuff is really scary. And I think sometimes that I can make it seem a little bit like, oh, you just do this and it's fine.
You just put your prices up and everything will be cool.
Yeah, and I kind of forget that I didn't do it all at once. I did it in increments, and I still don't charge enough for some stuff because I'm, whenever somebody says yes immediately, you haven't charged enough because, or that they would have been willing to pay more. And that's a topic for another day, and we'll talk about that at a different time. But that's a mindset thing as well.
Yeah.
How much do you value yourself?
I remember the early days where you'd put an action plan together, a proposal together for somebody, and you were like, "Can I really charge them for this? Is this fair?
Can I really charge £300 for an article?"
It's like, yes, you can.
And I would ask you for permission, wouldn't I? Almost?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, how long is it going to take you? A couple of days. It's like, yes, you can charge 300 quid.
Which is ludicrous because my day rate is considerably more than that. Considerably.
Things have moved on.
Things have moved on. And that's the point. It's okay to go through those stages because, I think actually my mentor, John, would say, well, why go through those stages? Just do it now. And that works for him because he is awesome and I love him to bits, but he's an obnoxious git who just doesn't give a shit what anybody thinks about him.
Poked me in the eye last time I saw him. There was some drunken wrestling. I don't really understand what happened.
There's also a photograph of what looks like John proposing to you.
Yeah, I think he was.
Right.
I don't know why.
We've drifted somewhat away from the podcast topic now. But yes, I think I do sometimes forget that you go through these stages because you forget the pain. It's like I remember when I broke my leg. I can't remember how much it hurt, but I know it really hurt a lot. And you forget that kind of pain. And it's the same in business as well, I think. You forget the pain of... Well, you don't forget the pain of being broke and angry. But you do forget the kind of uncomfortable feeling that you get when you put your prices up incrementally. So I think I sometimes get a bit gung-ho and I'm like, oh, just put your prices up to blah, blah, blah.
It's not that easy for some people,
It's not that easy for some people.
Because of their mindset.
Well, no, not even because of their mindset, because it's not that they've got a fixed mindset, because the people that I've been talking to, kind of coaching in my inner circle, definitely don't have a fixed mindset. They definitely don't. They wouldn't be in my inner circle if they did, because they want to change and grow. But there is a certain level of comfort that you have to be comfortable with yourself, because if you're not comfortable with the price that you're charging, then you're probably not gonna get it because you're not gonna sound confident enough. So that I think it's absolutely fine to work up to this stuff, because I've worked up to it and I'm still not there. You don't find the edge of the bubble for I don't know when. And then maybe never. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, we're 22 minutes in. I've rambled quite a lot.
It has been fairly tangential.
I was making excuses earlier about having had a really busy day, forgetting it was podcast day, and that's why it's a bit rambly, because I'm very organised. Don't I normally have notes, don't I?
There's normally some notes. I'm normally sitting here with a glass of wine wondering what on earth I'm doing, but you normally have some notes.
I do normally have some notes. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I'm sorry about the corpsing in the middle.
Maybe we should shorten that gap down a little bit.
No, because otherwise I'm presenting a face that's not real. And okay. I'm okay with kind of... We did, a couple of weeks ago, we did have to cut a big gap out where the cats had a massive fight. There hasn't been any cat fighting this time, although Whiskey looks like she's up to no good. So, and also we've got a pizza to eat and I'm starving. Because right now it's 22:05.
That is well past the end of the working day. So
we're going to put a pizza in and we're going to put Buster Keaton on, because Buster Keaton rocks. If you've never seen a Buster Keaton film, just sort yourself out. As per usual, thanks ever so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Richard, hi. Thank you for listening. I'm really, really chuffed that you're enjoying it and doing stuff. That's made my day. It's probably made my day. Joe coming home and telling me that. And if you are enjoying the podcast, please go to iTunes and leave us a review, because the more reviews we get and the more ratings we get, the higher up the rankings we go, and I find that very exciting. And you can leave a review on Stitcher Radio as well. And if you need instructions on how to do that, just drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com, and I will let you know how to do it.
If you'd like to join the inner circle or any of that stuff, feel free.
Yeah. businessforsuperheroes.com/inner-circle.
Yay.
And if you want to buy my book, it's just
businessforsuperheroes.com.
Thanks, Joe. It's definitely pizza o'clock. Signing off. We'll see you next week. Take care. Be relentless. Do stuff.
Do stuff. That's the key. Do stuff. Pick a direction. Do stuff.
Be happy. Bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.